This is Rob Pirie with the Coffee Runs Deep podcast, where we interview coffee farmers, coffee roasters, and we share their stories. Truly hope you enjoy the experience. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3. Before we get started, I just want to apologize for missing last week. We had a little hurricane roll through, Hurricane Ida, and pretty much knocked down all the power poles around here, knocked out internet, haven't had service for a little bit. Took about 2 weeks for the power to come back on, so we was messing around with generators and trying to get the water well back up and everything like that, and it was crazy. So finally getting back into the swing of things, and I truly appreciate y'all's patience. So with that being said, next episode is with Miss Mary Beth, and she is with Globetrotter Coffee. Super cool conversation, and I truly hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the Coffee Runs Deep podcast. Our special guest today is Miss Mary Beth with Globetrotter Coffee. She is a coffee roaster based out of Gettysburg, South Dakota. I was going through your Instagram and I see you kind of travel a good bit, so I imagine that's where Globetrotter probably came from. But I wanted to kind of, just start off by telling us about yourself and where that name kind of arrived.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this since we started talking about it. I love traveling. And so a few years ago, I just needed another income stream. And that's how I came up with the idea because I love coffee. And I wanted to come up with a way to make the world a little bit smaller by showing my customer base about the hardworking, men and women that actually bring coffee to the bean. And so that was kind of my goal, is I wanted to give people the opportunity to travel the world one cup at a time and taste all the different flavors from around the world, but also actually find out about the process and about the people. So I'm a single mom and I have 4 sons, and that keeps me plenty busy, but I do a lot of other things too that definitely fill up my days.
Heck yeah, 4 boys will definitely do that. What's their age range?
My oldest is 20 and my youngest is 6.
Okay, so you got a pretty good range there then.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's. I have 3, 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 7-month-old. So they're pretty close. It's like, I don't know. It's chaotic around here right now. But so then, as far as like I saw you've been down to Peru. It looked like you went to Machu Picchu and all that. Did you go to any coffee farms when you was there, or no?
I didn't. I had actually set up that trip long before I had came up with a coffee
Gotcha.
roasting idea. So it wasn't even on my radar at that point. Of course,
Yeah.
when I got down there, I was already thinking about it, but everything had already been booked for over a year. So
Right.
unfortunately, I did not get to see anything. I saw one little tiny plant growing off to the side, and that was it.
Yeah, I'd love to get down to Peru. Honestly, if I ever do go to Machu Picchu, I definitely want to pair it up with like a coffee kind of farm trip. But it looks amazing. Like Machu Picchu is just like, it's definitely one of the top 5 bucket, kind of list trips I want to go on one day. So
Yeah,
so
I
as
highly
far as
recommend it.
so I'm sorry about that. Do what?
Oh, I was gonna say I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah.
I did the whole Inca Trail, and it was probably the most incredible trip I have ever been on and ever will go on.
Is that where you hike in, or?
Yeah, so it's a 4-day hiking trip.
Oh wow.
You're backpacking in, and you're going from zero elevation in Lima, and then you travel up higher to like Cusco and Ollantaytambo, and then you are all the way at our highest point was 13,000 feet, and it's intense. It was, and I love backpacking. I do it a lot, and it was intense. So
Yeah.
it was great
Wow.
though.
So it's a 4-day. Then you get up there, and then you walk back down, or they like take a bus back down or something?
Yeah. So once you leave Machu Picchu, you go into Aguas Calientes, and from there you can take. You do a train from Machu Picchu to Aguas Calientes, and then you take a bus back down to Ollantaytambo. Is what my tour guides did. I don't know what other ones do, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd love to go do that one day. I've heard of that trail, and yeah, that'd be pretty cool. As far as your coffees and stuff that you kind of purchase and stuff, do you go through like a pretty good size importer, or do you kind of look for little coffee farms, or how do you kind of choose your coffee and stuff?
So it's mostly through a distributor out of Wisconsin called Berman Coffee Traders.
Okay.
And I selected them because they are very passionate about actually knowing the farmers and the workers as well. They have traveled to most, if not all, of the farms that they use. And so their vision is working with those small farms. And that's something that I was passionate about as well. And so that's why I chose them. Um, the other thing that kind of made me select that route is because I didn't want to go with someone that had such a big farm that it was the same coffee all the time. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't want to do that. I really truly wanted to showcase all these different countries. So pretty much my coffee for the most part changes about every 30 days because that's as big as that farm can handle. So I think so far last count I've worked with 24 different countries, and I just plan on keeping, continuing to add that number because I think it's so important for people to be able to taste all those different flavors. And it's really cool then when I talk to my customers and they're like, "Oh my gosh, when are you getting something from Zambia, Africa again? That was one of my favorites." And, then I can, encourage them to try something else or then actually just wait for Zambia to have one again.
Yeah.
The other part of that is I'm also really trying to, since coming back from Peru, I have met a lot of Peruvians through the internet that have coffee farms. And so the last couple of years, it's just been a lot of trying to figure out, how can I get this coffee over here? I was making a lot of grounds in that until COVID hit, and that kind of put a pause on things. But I'm hoping to be able to eventually work with like just directly with small farms because I think that would be a really unique piece of it as well.
Yeah, that was my kind of thing in the beginning too. Like I wanted to kind of, definitely focus on that. Now I was planning on doing a coffee trip in 2020. Then obviously, COVID
Mhm.
and all that hit, and I want to get down there now, but everybody I kind of talk to is just like, I don't want to get down there and get stuck, and then like you can't go to work or whatever, come back, and so I'm just kind of holding off, I guess, for now. But
Right.
yeah, that's definitely one of those things. As I've been talking to more farmers, because I'm also having coffee farmers on the podcast as well. I didn't realize like how small some of the farms are, and it's kind of like you're saying, like it doesn't take much, and you can one buyer really buy up a whole farm.
Right.
So that's kind of one thing I didn't really. You when you live in the United States, it's like you think all these farms around here are like thousands of acres, but
Right.
like a lot of these little farms down there are pretty small. So something I'm learning as I'm kind of talking to all these different farmers down there. So that's been pretty cool. So when you purchase your coffee through Burma, how much are you usually buying then?
Um, Before I got this contract through a coffee shop 2 hours from me, it was a very small amount. I mean, maybe the most that I would ever purchase was like 100 pounds,
Yeah.
just because I didn't have that much volume. My coffee is sold in 4 different stores, just on the shelf, bagged, and they just I don't have like a minimum order requirement. They can literally just text me at whatever time of the day and I will get into them, as soon as I can. But then once I got that coffee shop in Aberdeen, holy cow. So now I've been sending them almost $100 a week or 100 pounds a week since May. So yeah, I'm ordering probably anywhere from 600 to, I don't know if I've hit quite 1,000 pounds yet, between private retail sales and all my wholesale customers. I'm not sure if I've hit 100,000 yet or 1,000 yet. I'd have to look back, but
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Heck yeah.
it's getting there.
So with what size is your coffee roaster?
It's only 2.5 pounds.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Cause do you have a Bedeli
No, I have a Phoenix Oro.
Phoenix? Okay, yeah. Cause I saw I honestly think Bedeli, whatever manufacturer over in China, I think makes the Phoenix Oro and the Bedeli. Cause I mean they look identical,
Hmm.
from the lights and everything. So dang, how many like that's got to be a lot of time then to keep up with that amount of coffee.
It's insane.
How many hours a week do you think you spend roasting now?
If I have a full roaster or full order that has to go to Aberdeen, I'm probably at about 20 to maybe 30 hours of roasting.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I pretty much have them very well stocked now. So, I mean, it's still very fresh, but we kind of have a good pattern going where it's almost
Yeah.
like every other week it's frogging product, you know?
Yeah.
So now I probably only do 18 to 20 hours a week.
Okay.
So I can usually pull, because I work at the prison during the day, and then I have a 2 hour commute, and then I try to roast an insane amount of time Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. And then Friday nights, I'm usually delivering all the way up there and all the way back home. So
What's the longest you like spend roasting at one time, or what has been the longest you spent roasting on at one time?
I think the longest I had was one day I did 9 hours.
Straight?
Yeah,
Wow. That's a
it
lot.
was
That's because
long.
I get that question a lot about, can how long can like the roaster like, roast in one day or whatever. And I think I've pushed it to like 4 before, but I never really went beyond that. So, wow, that's definitely pretty crazy. Do you have plans to upgrade anytime soon? Or I know they're expensive, so it's like, gosh, you got to like really be committed once you like get a larger roaster at that point. So,
Right. I was really going to actually I was going to upgrade. I was hoping to a 15 pound from the same company because I was like, you know what? I already know this roaster. I know it inside and out. I can tear everything down. I can fix it. I want to stick to the same thing. And so I was going to order one. And then my oldest son enrolled in college. So I had to cover half of that for now.
yeah,
And my second son is going to be going to college. So, like, I just, I'll stick to what I'm doing.
this is it. Got to make it work.
So,
So
yeah, I
did you
mean,
buy it from Buckeye Coffee Roasters?
yeah,
Okay. How was that? I know a few people who have bought from them, and is the customer service and everything pretty decent and stuff?
it was fantastic,
Really?
actually. And I did not learn how to do this from anyone. I literally researched it for a year, chose this roaster because it was in my price range. And when it showed up, I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, beyond other than watching YouTube videos and reading books and whatever, I had no clue because watching and doing is different.
Mm-hmm.
So every operator error I made for those first few months, they were fantastic. I would call them up or I would email them and send them a video, and they were always really good about, responding. And I'd always start it with like, hey, here's the crazy lady from South Dakota. I have no idea what I'm doing. What am I doing wrong? So they were really good to work with. I actually even put a review on the BBB website because I was so impressed with what they did. So
Oh, that's cool. Do you have an electric or gas?
this is gas.
Gas? Is it propane or like the natural gas?
It's propane. Well, natural gas, sorry. I
Yeah.
thought about upgrading to propane, but then I was like, my whole house runs on natural gas, so I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
it like that.
See, I got I went with propane, but we don't have natural gas. And then I just figured if I had like a bottle, I could kind of just put, the roaster kind of anywhere. So, oh, that's pretty cool. So, when did you get into it? How long have you been roasting now?
I think I started 2018. Yep. So this was my third
2018?
year. Mhm.
Okay. I think that's about when I got mine was in 2018. Um, yeah, around July.
Mhm.
Because I remember, I think the following years when all the tariffs and stuff went in, and I think like I remember the lady telling me at the time, like, you might want to get it now because once all that kind of goes in, that yeah, everything was kind of be going up, long lead times and stuff like that. How long did it take you to get the roaster from basically ordering to getting it?
I think it was only a couple weeks. And to be fair, this roaster, which I don't know if you can see, um, it is actually a used one. It's one that they kind of had for a floor model.
Oh, cool.
And so I actually got it discounted. So I mean, it was good that I didn't have to, wait for anything to be manufactured. But I know the bigger one that I was going to get was going to be 3 to 5 weeks, depending on if I chose certain colors and stuff like that. So
Okay. Well, that still ain't too bad then. So they must stock some of these. I think they're out of California. They must stock some of them in
the guy I talked
or
to,
at
they're
least
in
parts.
Arizona.
Oh, in Arizona. Yeah, that's it. Buckeye is in
Yeah.
Arizona.
But I know when I was talking to them about my bigger roaster, they did say that they're getting very low on on what they have on hand, and it's getting really hard for them to get parts in to
Oh,
rebuild
wow.
or to build new ones.
Yeah.
So they said, if you're going to do it, you need to do it now. And then all that stuff with college came up, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
I'll
Put it
wait
on
till
the
next
back
year, maybe.
burner. Yeah, it'll definitely be there. So, as far as like learning to roast, then you kind of, so you didn't take any courses or go to any, didn't hire anybody to come in and teach you, just kind of self taught, watching YouTube videos. I'm sure you watched the Mill City Roaster series and stuff.
Yep,
Most of it.
we just don't have anything around here,
Yeah.
and I am pretty much the only roaster in the middle of South Dakota. And for me to fly anywhere, it would have been way more money than I could
Hmm.
afford as a single mom. And so I don't know, my mom raised me, you have a problem, you figure it out. And so I did a lot of trial and error. And I think for the first like 3 batches, I was basically baking the beans and not actually roasting the beans. I didn't have my heat up enough.
Yeah.
And then I had some little things, I had little nuances that the machine has with airflow that I had to learn. I kept getting like chaff blocks and all that stuff. And now she and I have a good relationship, but for the first few months, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. How long do you think it took you, like roast wise? How many batches did you feel like, okay, I feel comfortable, I know what I'm doing, and I'm ready to sell or kind of move in that
Right.
direction?
Once I actually figured out the baking versus roasting thing, it was like perfect after that. I so probably only about 5 6 batches where I tasted everything, I sampled everything, and I was like, wow, I actually might be good at this. So, but I think it was probably another month before I started selling. So it was probably very quick compared to what a lot of people do. But like I said, I'm just kind of one of those people. If
Yeah.
I have a goal, I'm gonna figure it out and do it.
I think that's one of those things too. Like in the beginning, like I know I was pretty naive because I'm in the same boat. There's not really that many coffee roasters like in Louisiana. Like we have some bigger ones like Community Coffee and stuff, but they're like kind of on a different level. But no, it's the same thing. So whenever I started, I was like, well, mine tastes better than what's in store at a few weeks in. So I'm like, let me just start selling to the guys at work and, just
Exactly.
kind of moving in with it. But yeah, it definitely, I think the Mill City Coffee Roaster courses I watched probably multiple times. And
Mhm.
then I did have a guy, he lives around here and he teaches kind of like roasting, but he actually moved to Cyprus. But he was back, I think, for like a week or something like that. And he came out and kind of showed me how to do some stuff and showed me how the whole cupping thing, because it's really weird in the beginning, like everything's so foreign. You like you learn roasting and then you're like, wait, people, they do cuppings? Like what is this, so he kind of ran me through how all that worked, and it was pretty cool. So
That is
but
cool. I mean, I have a sister who lives in Wyoming, and she purchased a roasting company, probably about 3 or 4 years ago now. And so there was times that I would just call her up and just say, "Hey, do you have any idea about this?" But our roasters are totally different. She has a Diedrich roaster, which I would love to have too.
yeah.
But so there was a lot of things she couldn't answer that were just very specific to my roaster. But she tried helping as much as she could.
Yeah. So do you roast with data or anything, or do you roast just strictly off the dials basically?
Yeah, I have the capabilities to use data, and I don't know. I really love, really having to pay attention to the sight and the smell and the sound and, I love the process. And
Yeah.
so, and I know that everyone's like, oh, there's just better consistency. And, I get that. And I think it's amazing if that's what you do. But this is my creative space. And so
Mhm.
I love that part.
Yeah.
And I think right now, as long as my customers are happy, I don't see me switching over to that. But
Yeah, I feel with the data, like I've messed up more roasts, like using data, because then I get distracted, like the phone rings or
great.
take a call or something. You're just kind of relying on the graph. But yeah, if I'm sitting there roasting and like I'm playing with everything and I'm maybe jotting stuff down on a paper, I'm more apt to like stay focused on what I'm doing, and I
Right.
kind of agree with you there. I mean, I don't know to and the other thing too, I guess when you're selling, it's probably more important to be consistent. But I do mostly home roasting stuff now for myself, and like I like to experiment around. Like if you may mess up and something tastes better, you know. So that's always kind of cool too. So your sister, so she's a coffee roaster as well.
Yeah, she is. Yep, Katie Clausen, and she's with Roast Coffee Company out of or Sheridan, Wyoming.
Okay.
So yeah, she does pretty well out there.
Does she have like a storefront and everything, or?
No, she just does kind of what I do. She purchased it from another guy who had it going for quite a while, and so thankfully she already had a really good client base set up. So she sells in a lot of different places in Sheridan and Buffalo, and then a lot of restaurants use her coffee, and so she doesn't have a storefront yet, but a lot of people buy from her just like they buy from me. So
Yeah.
and then
How
she has her website, so
what size is her Diedrich?
I don't even remember now.
I don't know. Is it bigger than one you got, or?
Huge.
Oh, real? Oh, it's okay. So it's probably
It
one of
would
the.
take up half of my 10-foot wide room here.
Oh wow. Okay. So she
Yeah,
can do some volume then.
right. But she needs to. I mean,
Yeah.
she has a lot of customers and she roasts a lot of coffee. So
That's kind of cool. Then do y'all ever kind of feed information like different types of coffee, what y'all are liking, what y'all not liking, as far as regions and stuff like that?
yeah, we've talked about it, and she does a lot of blends with hers, and that's what her customers love. I do pretty much just all single origin.
Yeah.
Starting out, some of my light roast, and sometimes I'll still mix a little bit of Colombian in my light roast, but pretty much all mine are just single origin. If it's Peruvian, it's Peruvian. If it's Mexican, it's Mexican. So we'll kind of talk about the differences we like with that, and if I'm deciding to do something new, like when I started with espresso, she was really helpful in telling me, okay, this is what I charge, for my espresso, for my retail. This is what I charge for wholesale. And then I was able to kind of figure out what the going rate would be here. So yeah, she was a lot of help with that.
So you're talking about an espresso roast?
Just the roast. Yep.
Yeah. What do you do different for that really then? Like, is it just a darker type of roast or?
Mostly it's the beans that I purchase. I purchased two different beans from India, and one has just very robust flavor, and the other one has a very high caffeine content. And
Okay.
so Berman actually sells them specifically for espresso. But I have a lot of customers that actually use it as regular drip coffee,
Yeah.
and because it is really good. So
I've only had I think it's Malabar from India or something. That's one of the provinces over there. That's the only one I've really ever had from India.
yep.
But I
One of mine
know
is
there.
Monsoon Malabar.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yep.
it. I've had that, but I think there's some other regions too. It's weird how some countries and regions like really just command so much market share, like Kenya and Colombia and Brazil and stuff like that, and then other ones that are kind of coming out. Something that's always kind of made me think like, what's the big difference, and like, is it just marketing or like what, you know? So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
there's definitely a different, I don't know if it's atmosphere, I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, it's very different from one country to another. And even some regions are very different as far as their processing and how they market it and
yeah.
how important it is in this area but not this other area. I don't know, it's pretty fascinating. I don't know, it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy researching where those beans are coming from.
Yeah, yeah. Just actually, I just got off the phone here a couple days ago with Mighty Peace Coffee or something like that. They do Congolese
Oh, okay.
coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and he said they're basically just trying to build up the infrastructure there. But he was telling me a lot of times like they'll actually, if you buy coffee from Burundi or Tanzania or any that border the Congo, he said a lot of times you may actually be getting coffee from the Congo, but they don't have anywhere to process it over there, so it's just crossing the border and kind of mixing in with Burundi or Tanzania and stuff like that. And I thought that was kind of cool too, because like there really is like in certain areas too hard to trace where the coffee's actually coming from back to the farm. I think that's something that they're trying to change and stuff like that, so they can put Congo on the map, and
Mm-hmm.
because I think they produce some really good coffee. I've actually had some from there, and I mean it's really good African coffee. But it's like it's another place like you don't ever hear of too much, and you don't really see it on the shelves anywhere. Or see people kind of offering it anywhere.
Right. And I think that's why I chose to work with so many small farmers, is because I want people to think of other countries when it comes to coffee and not just the usual, you know,
Yeah.
not just Colombia. Not that, I mean, South American coffee is my favorite coffee, but I also wanted them to understand that there are places like the Congo that have really
Yeah.
good coffee, you know, and just try to help people understand that there's a world outside of America, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the weird thing too is just like when I was talking to Jim and he was just saying that when you think of the Congo, I always think of like the old movies, the 90s movies and stuff. And he's like, yeah, people have this mystery of the Congo and he said they're just trying to, basically show that they have some good coffee and everything like that and it's these different regions you don't really know about, but that's where all the coffee kind of comes from. And we're just kind of, I feel, up here, a lot of people you talk to, especially kind of where me and you live,
Right.
like a lot of people just drink commodity coffee. It's the Folgers from the store, and there's no kind of traceability where it comes from or anything like that. So that's another thing too, as far as like your region. Do you feel it's been hard to kind of break into the specialty coffee market with? Because I feel whenever I first started, it was like most of my time spent was educating those around me on what it was and why you're charging three times more than what they'd be paying in, the local little grocery store.
I think, and I don't mean to sound like a, you know, someone that takes advantage of bad times, but I had already been working so much in the public eye for the last 12 years with my child sexual assault work that when I came up with this idea for my coffee business, people who had supported me for so long in my advocacy work, they just automatically wanted to support me in my coffee business too, which is great. I loved having that support. Um, but yeah, especially in this very agriculture driven farming community. I remember when I first started selling to the grocery store right here in town, I had quite a few absolutely wonderful older ladies come up to me and say, well, I just drink folders. I don't see what the big deal is, you know, but I really hope you have good luck. And I just smile and say thank you, you know. Well, probably within the last year, I've had all those ladies come back and say, you know what? I decided to buy your coffee one day and it is the best coffee I've ever had. And so now they said, unfortunately, you've ruined me. And I had one lady say that she mixed it with Folgers to make it last longer. I had another lady say that she buys some and just keeps it for Sunday. And then I had another one just say, that's all I drink now. Thanks a lot, you know? And so it was kind of hard at first because a lot of people around here are like, you're
Yeah.
kidding, right? But I have to say that I really respect what like Black Rifle does. And as much popularity as they have had, it's been nice to kind of piggyback on their success because people are like, oh, wow, good coffee is actually really good. And then
Hmm.
I plug the fact that mine's 16 ounces and Black Rifle is only 12. So,
There you go. Yeah, I
so
think
yeah.
yeah, Black Rifle's starting to do like kind of shops and stuff now. I think they're starting to kind of open up. So, um I don't know. I like despite what everybody thinks about Black Rifle, their marketing is on point. I mean, you
It's
can't their
fantastic.
video, how yeah, their social media strategy, they definitely have some strategy going out there taking over market share. So, I'll definitely give them that. So then as far as Endeavor 52, do your roasting around that to help to support your charity thing?
Well, Endeavor 52, right now, I'm not having to do a whole lot. When I first started 12 years ago, it was very much, my life was totally different. I was married at the time, I was ranch wife. So I had a lot of time to devote to that. And it was a time that South Dakota really needed to see some changes made as far as that goes. And so everything has happened with perfect timing. Now, so through that work, we've started a 10-year plan, and we're about 3 years into that 10-year plan. And so now there's this entire team of incredible people who are pretty much doing all the work. So a lot of us who started this project that we called Jolene's Law, we're kind of have just sitting in the back supporting them now.
Okay.
So
Well, I tell you what,
my
let me back up then. What exactly is Endeavor 52? You're is that something that you started or?
Yep, Endeavor 52 is the organization I started to better prevent child sexual assault and improve response to it. So when it happened to my children here in the middle of South Dakota, there was no help, there was no education. Like I was left to navigate this horrible thing on my own. And so while helping my kids heal, I also decided, well, I have to do something about this because this is way too prevalent. It shouldn't be happening. And anyway, that led me to meet all these other amazing people. And we created this task force called Jolene's Law Task Force. And that led to just completely improving things in South Dakota, not just child sexual assault, but all forms of maltreatment. And so now we have something called the Center for Prevention of Child Maltreatment. And through that, we are absolutely changing the scope of prevention and response in South Dakota. So Endeavor 52 is just my part of that bigger picture. And so now pretty much all I do through Endeavor 52 is I'm still an adverse childhood experiences master trainer. I'm an enough abuse master trainer. And then I'm starting a new community, kind of a resource hub in Pirie, which is where the women's prison that I work at is located. Basically, it's combining all the community organizations, churches, absolutely anyone who can do anything and filling in all those gaps that we see in our community, whether it's needing better housing, needing parenting classes, needing babysitting for parenting classes, all those little things that people always need, but no one knows really how to help. So that's kind of what I do with Endeavor 52 is I just use it as my platform and my little umbrella to do everything else for every other organization that needs something. That's what
Gotcha.
it is now.
Okay. Do you have like volunteers that like help you with everything and?
Yeah, if I have a big project, I definitely have some friends that I can, call in. Back when I first started, I was doing a lot of community presentations, and I have been called to give my boys this story with their blessing, and just hundreds of times over the last 12 years. And so if I was organizing an event, there was always people willing to come pitch in with that. And I mean, because it's a great cause, no one can
Yeah.
deny that. So yeah, but as far as like an actual board or anything like that, I just didn't go there. I'm Endeavor 52, my kids are Endeavor 52, and we just support whoever needs it in whatever way. Whether that's social media, someone's experienced it or their kids experienced it and they need to know what to expect. Whatever. I'm there to help. So
Wow. So that's got to be definitely tough. I couldn't imagine any of that. And I'm glad that you like actually took act because that's the other thing too. A lot of people, something happens and it's like it gets you down, but I mean, wow, you went out there and really did something about it. So that's super cool.
yeah, thanks.
So I do have one other question. As far as like going back to roasting a little bit, the cottage food law. Do you operate under cottage food law or anything, or
I
like,
don't have to.
oh, y'all don't have to do anything like that?
Nope. I don't have inspections. I don't have anything. The only thing I would have to have is if I actually put 16 ounces or 1 pound or whatever on my bag, I would have to have my scales inspected.
Oh wow. So
I have
do you even
nothing.
put that on your bags then?
Nope.
That's cool. I mean, wow, like it's pretty strict down here in Louisiana, which I didn't figure it would be. I was like when I first started, I was like, I mean, we're last in everything pretty much. So I was like, they're not going to care about, food inspections and stuff, but apparently they do because we got to have like a full-blown commercial kitchen with 3 compartment sink, floors you can wipe, walls you can wipe, and I was like,
Yeah,
geez Louise, you do all that. I mean, you're dropping some money.
I
So,
know. And my sister does have to deal with a lot of that. And that was a big deciding factor for me when I went into this is because I knew where I was at financially. I could not do all that. And I mean, my kids and I live I mean, it's beautiful, but a single wide trailer. I'm like, I can't build another house. And so that's not possible. So yeah, when I found that out, that there aren't any laws here. There's not any oversight. As long as I'm not actually making the coffee and serving it,
Right.
I have nothing.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah, because that was the big thing too. Why like I got out of it because I was like, okay, like I was getting not big on social media, but I was getting like more followers and stuff on social. The word was getting out there, and I mean, literally, it was just a matter of time before somebody kind of turned you in, basically, and you get that knock on the door, and it's like,
Right.
what are you doing here? But yeah. So now I don't know. I've been wanting to kind of start back, but it's like, geez Louise, I either got to literally build out an entire commercial kitchen, or I'd have to partner up with another you know commercial kitchen of some sort and roast out of there. So that's
Yeah.
kind of been a headache. But I love, and that's the other thing too. It's like you don't know when you're going to get orders and work and kids. It's like a lot of times I was doing all my stuff at 10, 11 at night, and like it's just, well, are they going to open the doors for me to come in at late at night and do all this stuff? And so I
Yeah.
just kind of put it on the back burner. As one day, one day when my kids are older and more money's there, I'll do it, I guess. But
Yeah. I don't know. I wish it wasn't like that way. I mean, I understand, keeping people safe and healthy and whatever, but it's just, I'm very thankful I don't have to deal with it. I think it'd be really fun to get into having chocolate covered espresso beans. I have a coffee rub recipe that I have developed for steaks that I think it would be amazing to market. If I find the right coffee shop or cafe or something that wants to kind of partner up with that, then fantastic. I think it's a great opportunity for them and me, but there is no way that I will I will go there. I
yeah,
just I can't. I mean, and I thought about too about, going to a different, like one of the nearby towns and trying to find a building and then actually converting everything. But again, being a single mom, like my kids can be asleep at, 10, 11 midnight, and I can be out here till 3 in the morning roasting, and I can just run back and forth and check on them, and I don't have to worry about that. I would not be able to do that if I had to drive 20, 30,
yeah,
60 miles to a
yeah,
different location. So,
yeah. That definitely would make it a lot harder. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, do you take the gamble and go pull out a loan and this, that, and the other? But then you got small kids. I can't really quit my job, so.
the cool thing is, as long as you keep doing it for yourself and you love doing it,
Hmm.
you never know where it leads.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Like this, my little whole journey started off, kind of home roasting and then selling, and then now I'm kind of turning more towards like media and wanting to do, YouTube and podcasts and stuff. So, yeah, you never know. I mean, I'm kind of wanting to eventually down the road get more involved with the farmers, and like I'd like to go down there and make videos and kind of kind of support them, just tell their story and stuff. Like the podcast is just like that first step. And then, if I can grow it, go make some videos, maybe do like a little short documentary of, different cultures, different areas. That's kind of my long term, my 5-year plan, but we'll see
I
how
think
that
that's
goes.
fantastic. I mean, you just got to make it happen.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. So did you have
Easier
any
said than done.
coffee experience before roasting, or like did you ever work at a coffee
Drinking it,
shop? Do what?
drinking it.
Drinking it? So you never worked at a coffee shop or anything,
No,
or?
I did work at a coffee shop here in town. I was a cook there because they kind of had a little cafe, and then I was also one of the baristas. So, yeah, that was about it. I went into it very green. So, what do you have for a roaster?
I have a little 2 kilogram Bedeli. It's literally exactly like the Oro. I mean, I'm looking at it now. It's the same button, same design, same handles and everything. So it's a little 2 kilogram. I usually do only 4 pounds in it, which usually gives me about 5 bags whenever I was doing it. So it's like every time I drop a batch, I could do about 5 bags, which I only did 10-ounce bags. I think I got 8 ounce. I think I bought a bunch of 8-ounce bags and I didn't realize it. But I could push it to put 10 in, but I couldn't put 12. So I was like, well, we just got to roll with some 10-ounce bags. So because I'm not just eating 500 or 1,000 bags. I forgot what I bought. I bought like 500 or 1,000 bags. And it's like, all these little costs add up in the beginning. So if you make a mistake, you just got to
I
roll
do.
with it. So I remember my first stickers came in and my wife was looking at them and she's like, you spelled something wrong. I think it was Burundi or one of the countries, and I was like, gosh. So you got to reorder all the stickers because like you can't have the country wrong. So yeah, it's all the
Right.
little things in the beginning that just add up. But
Yeah, I think I still have some stickers that I had ordered with my first website, and I don't have that website now. And so now I was like, well, I don't want to just throw them away because that's silly, but I don't want to put them on anything that someone else might try to go to the wrong website on.
Yeah.
So I have one customer in particular. She loves my Mexican coffee, and she will order 5 bags at a time, and she gets a couple coarse ground for her French press, and then she gets the other. Is that her French press? No, I don't remember what she uses. But then the rest of them are just regular. And so I'll just stick it to differentiate if there's different grinds or something, because no one's
Yeah.
going to look at it then. So, like, I'm
Yeah.
not wasting these stupid stickers.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Like if I'm giving bags to like family or something like that, I'll stick the old,
Yep.
wrong stickers on there. They're not going to know the difference, but
Nope.
yeah, no, it's fun. It's I'm not gonna lie, like the journey in the beginning is so fun because you learn so much about business and stuff like that. And I don't know. For me, it was a huge learning experience, and I would have really. There are things I definitely have done different if I could go back and do them again. But that's really about all my questions. Do you have anything you kind of want to go into or discuss, talk about?
Gosh, I can't think of anything. I think we pretty much covered most of the stuff.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
far as buying your coffee and everything like that, is it just globetrottercoffee.com?
.co.
.co.
Yes.
Globetrottercoffee.co.
Yes. You have to make sure that's .co because that's what it is now. So yeah,
Okay.
or I have people that text me and I point them to because if you go on my website, you can see information about all the different farms and what it tastes like and all those, crazy things. But sometimes when someone is completely brand new to the whole fancy coffee world, they don't know what that means. Like, what does robust mean? And so I have a lot of people that'll text me or shoot me an email, and you can email me straight through the website too,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
just ask questions, and that's fine. During the day, I do not have my phone when I work in the prison, so if people do text me or call me or email me, I probably will not be able to answer until I get off work. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm any way I can help anyone either find coffee or anything else, I'm definitely up for it. So,
Heck yeah.
and then I
That's
have an
super cool.
Instagram for it. And
That's actually a good one, real quick. Where do you feel you market the best at? Instagram or Facebook or
honestly,
just kind of word of
Facebook,
mouth?
yeah, most of it's Facebook. And honestly, right now I'm so busy, I haven't been working very hard to market.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I have had such good luck with those little $20 Facebook ads. It's crazy. And so I'll do that right before big holidays, just give special deals, things like that. So, but I don't know. Facebook has worked really well.
Yeah.
And
No,
word of mouth. I don't know.
yeah, Facebook is good with their ads. I think if you're a small business and you're not running Facebook ads, you're definitely leaving some on the table because it's pretty. And what's cool about Facebook ads is you can tailor it to like who you want, like just female, just male, just whatever. It's you can really niche down to what region you want, where you just your little area, not even focus on any other states or anything like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool feature how they can do all that.
Yeah,
So
it is. And I use that ad, what do they call it? The ad manager.
yeah,
And it works pretty well.
yeah.
I have other Facebook pages that I've had for, firearms and my advocacy work and stuff like that. And so I was already thankfully familiar with how to do a lot of those things. I have one friend, he just set up a guided meditation business. And I said, so how's the business going? Oh, well, I haven't had a customer yet. I'm like, what? Are you on Facebook? No, I don't really know how to do social media. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to help you because if you're not, you'll never have a business.
Yeah, it's really hard to start small nowadays and grow without social media. That's kind of the big advantage of a small business is like the social media is there for everybody, big and small. So it's kind of a free for all right now, which I don't know how long that's going to be. So it's kind of a good time right now to really just get that free exposure that before you'd have to pay for. I was just thinking 20 years ago when I first started, like I would literally have to go buy ads in a newspaper or something, but I can just post on here for free and all my friends and family, whatever, can see what I'm doing and buy a coffee. It's pretty yeah, if you're not on social media and you're starting a small business, like gosh, you really have to almost get on there.
I know. I was like, well, who are you even telling about it? Are you just hoping that someone's magically going to come to your door and be like, I want to meditate? I mean, that's not how that works. So,
Exactly.
so yeah, social media has been a huge benefit, for everything that I've been doing. So,
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. So yeah, so you've probably been running social media on Endeavor 52 and all them for years now. So you kind of already had a good grasp of all that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like once you learn one portion of it, everything kind of carries over to the next thing you do, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, all the platforms are very similar in a lot of ways. So if you can run one, you can run a lot of the other ones,
right,
and it's nice now, since so many of them are being owned by pretty much the same one, that
exactly.
they link together, so you don't have to do 10 different posts, because who has time for that? If I'm going to post to Facebook, it'll post to Instagram at the same time, and
Yep.
can save you a lot of time. So
Oh yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no reason not to.
Exactly. I think that's really about it then.
Okay.
I'm go ahead and close it out then if you're good with it.
Yep, it works.
All right. Thank you guys and girls for tuning in, and thank you to Mary Beth for taking the time and sharing the Globetrotter Coffee's journey. Check out the links below. I'll have Globetrotter Coffee Co. linked below, and I'll have your Instagram and stuff like that linked below so they can go and check you out.
Great.
Thanks for tuning in to the Coffee Runs Deep podcast, and I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and go show Mary Beth some love. Had a great conversation with her, and I will have all her info and everything linked below for Globetrotter Coffee. You can go check that out. Again, Mary Beth, thank you so much for coming on. Truly do appreciate it. And if y'all have any questions, hit me up, hit her up, hit us both up. We're always down to talk coffee, Anyway, love y'all. Peace out. Thank y'all again.